Once you turn 70, something powerful begins to happen, if you allow it. Life starts to simplify. The noise that once felt urgent becomes distant. The pressure that once felt heavy becomes lighter. And the things you spent decades worrying about slowly lose their grip. The truth is, after 70, happiness and health are no longer built on achievement, approval, or accumulation. They are built on peace, purpose, and presence. Today, I want to share 5 things that no longer matter after 70 if you truly want a happier, healthier life. First, impressing other people no longer matters. For most of your life, you may have tried to look successful, capable, strong, or admired. You worried about what relatives think, what neighbors say, what society expects. But after 70, the greatest freedom is realizing that approval is overrated. People are too busy with their own lives to judge yours as much as you imagine. Real joy comes when you stop performing and start living honestly. Wear what is comfortable. Speak what is true. Spend time how you actually enjoy it. Peace grows when pretending ends. Second, small social comparisons no longer matter. Who has the bigger house, the better car, the more accomplished children, the fancier lifestyle? These comparisons steal energy but give nothing back. After 70, your journey is unique. Your timeline is complete in its own way. Comparing chapters is pointless when every book is different. Gratitude becomes more powerful than competition. When you measure your life by moments of love, laughter, and resilience instead of status, your heart becomes lighter and your stress drops, and that directly supports better health. Third, holding on to old grudges no longer matters. Carrying resentment into older age is like carrying a heavy bag on a long walk. It only exhausts you. The body after 70 responds strongly to emotional weight. Stress, anger, and bitterness affect sleep, blood pressure, and immunity. Forgiveness is no longer about the other person. It becomes medicine for you. Letting go does not mean what happened was right. It means your remaining years are too valuable to poison with yesterday's pain. Fourth, chasing perfection no longer matters. The perfect body, perfect home, perfect routine, perfect family, these were always illusions. After 70, progress and comfort matter more than perfection. A short daily walk is better than the perfect exercise plan you never start. A simple, healthy meal is better than an ideal diet you cannot maintain. Calling a friend today is better than planning the perfect visit someday. Gentle consistency beats flawless intention. Health improves more from steady habits than from extreme efforts. Fifth, worrying about being busy all the time no longer matters. Productivity is not the measure of your worth anymore. Rest is not laziness, it is wisdom. Slowing down is not falling behind. It is arriving where life can be fully felt. After 70, your nervous system, your heart, and your mind benefit from calm rhythms. Enjoying tea slowly, sitting in sunlight, having unhurried conversations, and taking mindful walks are not small things. They are life-extending habits. Busyness strains, meaningful slowness heals. After 70, the goal is no longer to prove, it is to experience. No longer to compete, but to connect. No longer to accumulate, but to appreciate. When you release what no longer matters, you make room for what truly does. Relationships, peace of mind, gentle health, daily gratitude, and inner freedom. And that is where the happiest, healthiest years are found. One of the most liberating changes that can happen after turning 70 is realizing that you no longer need to impress everyone to feel worthy. For decades, much of life may have been shaped by expectations, from family, society, coworkers, and even friends. You may have chosen certain clothes, words, habits, or even dreams based on how others would judge them. But at this stage of life, continuing to live for approval becomes exhausting and unnecessary. True happiness now comes from authenticity, not performance. Trying to impress people often creates hidden stress. It pushes you to say yes when you want to say no, to hide your struggles, to act stronger than you feel, and to appear more successful than you need to be. This kind of emotional pressure doesn't just affect the mind, it affects the body. It raises anxiety, disturbs sleep, and keeps your nervous system tense. After 70, protecting your inner calm is far more valuable than protecting an image. Peace of mind becomes more important than public opinion. You also begin to understand that most people are not thinking about you as much as you once feared. They are busy managing their own worries and priorities. The spotlight you imagined was on you was never that bright. This realization is freeing. It allows you to dress for comfort instead of display. speak honestly instead of cautiously, and spend your time doing what genuinely brings joy instead of what looks impressive from the outside. When you stop trying to impress, your relationships also become more real. Conversations grow warmer because you are no longer pretending. You can admit when you are tired, ask for help when needed, and share your true stories without polishing them. People connect more deeply with sincerity than with perfection. Your presence becomes relaxed rather than performative. Letting go of the need to impress also opens the door to rediscovering simple pleasures. You might return to hobbies you once avoided because they seemed unimportant or uncool. You may laugh louder, rest more often, and express opinions more freely. This honesty reduces emotional strain and supports better overall health. At this age, your value is not measured by how impressive you appear, but by how peacefully you live. The moment you stop performing for others is the moment you start living fully for yourself, and that is where real happiness begins. Letting go of social comparisons after the age of 70 is one of the most powerful steps toward a happier and healthier life. For much of adulthood, it is common to measure progress by looking at others: who earned more, who achieved more, whose children are more successful, who owns more, or who appears more respected. These comparisons often happen quietly but constantly, shaping how you feel about your own life. After 70, continuing this habit only steals peace from years that should feel lighter and more meaningful. Comparison creates invisible pressure. Even when life is stable, looking at someone else's situation can make your own blessings feel smaller. You may forget the struggles you overcame, the sacrifices you made, and the quiet victories that never appeared in public view. Every life path is different. Different health, different opportunities, different losses, different timing. Measuring your journey with someone else's ruler will always give a distorted result. Emotional well-being improves when you begin to evaluate your life by your resilience and gratitude, instead of by someone else's outcomes. There is also a deeper truth that becomes clearer with age. What looks perfect from the outside rarely is. The family that seems ideal has private tensions. The wealthy neighbor has hidden worries. The accomplished friend has silent regrets. After 70, wisdom allows you to see beyond appearances. This understanding weakens the urge to compare and strengthens the ability to appreciate your own story. Letting go of comparison also improves relationships. When you stop measuring people, you start enjoying them. Conversations become warmer when they are not mixed with silent competition. You celebrate others without feeling diminished. You accept your own limitations without shame. This emotional balance reduces stress hormones and supports heart health, sleep quality, and mental calm. Gratitude becomes the healthier replacement for comparison. Not forced gratitude, but honest recognition of what remains. Your experiences, your lessons, your memories, your survival, your personal growth. When you focus on what is present instead of what is missing, your mind relaxes. Satisfaction grows from within rather than depending on external rankings. At this stage of life, fulfillment is not about being ahead of others, it is about being at peace with yourself. When comparison fades, contentment finally has room to stay. Releasing old grudges and resentment after the age of 70 is not just an emotional choice, it is a health decision. Many people carry unresolved anger, betrayals, disappointments, and broken relationships from years or even decades ago. These memories can feel justified and deeply rooted, but holding on to resentment is like holding a burning coal and expecting the other person to feel the heat. Over time, it is your own peace and health that suffer the most. The body and mind are closely connected, especially in later years. Lingering anger keeps the stress response active. It raises blood pressure, tightens muscles, disrupts sleep, and increases anxiety. Even when the conflict is long over, the emotional replay continues inside the nervous system. After 70, recovery and resilience are more delicate, which means emotional burdens weigh heavier than before. Letting go becomes a form of self-care, not weakness. Forgiveness does not mean saying what happened was acceptable. It does not require forgetting the lesson or allowing harmful people back into your life. It simply means you choose not to relive the injury every day. You decide your remaining years are too valuable to be controlled by old pain. Forgiveness is about reclaiming emotional space. It is a personal release, not a public announcement. There is also a quiet freedom that comes when you stop waiting for apologies that may never come. Many people never admit their wrongs. If your peace depends on their confession, you remain emotionally tight to them. When you forgive internally, you cut that tie. You give yourself closure, even if the story never received a proper ending. Letting go of grudges can also soften your heart toward the present. You become more patient, more understanding, and more open to connection. Relationships improve because you are no longer reacting from old wounds. You listen more calmly and respond more thoughtfully. Emotional lightness makes room for joy, humor, and compassion. Time after 70 is precious. Carrying bitterness into these years is like filling a beautiful room with old broken furniture. When you clear it out, space appears. Space for calm mornings, warm conversations, and restful nights.
Releasing resentment is not about the past anymore. It is about protecting the quality of the life you are still living. Forgetting perfection and choosing consistency becomes one of the wisest shifts you can make after turning 70. For most of life, you may have been taught to aim for perfect results, the perfect plan, the perfect diet, the perfect schedule, the perfect outcome. But perfection is demanding and often discouraging. It sets a standard so high that many people delay starting or give up too quickly. At this stage of life, steady and repeatable habits matter far more than flawless execution. Perfection creates pressure, while consistency creates progress. When you try to do everything perfectly, even small setbacks feel like failures. You might skip a walk because you cannot do the full routine, avoid healthy eating because one meal went off track, or start a good habit because you missed a few days. This all-or-nothing thinking is harmful, especially for health and well-being after 70. The body responds better to gentle, regular care than to intense, irregular effort. Consistency means choosing actions that are sustainable. A 15-minute walk every day is more powerful than a 2-hour workout once a month. Simple balanced meals most days are better than a strict diet you cannot maintain. Stretching lightly each morning helps more than planning a perfect fitness program that never begins. Small repeated actions strengthen muscles, improve circulation, stabilize mood, and support long-term independence. There is also an emotional release in letting go of perfection. You allow yourself to be human. Some days will be low energy. Some days plans will change. Some days motivation will be missing. Consistency does not demand that every day look the same. It only asks that you return to your good habits again and again. This flexible mindset reduces guilt and increases follow-through. Choosing consistency also builds confidence. Each small completed action becomes proof that you are capable and committed to your well-being. Progress becomes visible not through dramatic transformation, but through steady stability. Better balance, improved stamina, calmer mood, and more reliable routines. After 70, health is protected by rhythm more than intensity. Gentle repetition beats heroic bursts. When you release the need to do things perfectly, you make it easier to keep doing them at all. And in the long run, what you do regularly will always matter more than what you do perfectly once. Letting go of constant busyness becomes essential after the age of 70 if you want a truly happier and healthier life. For many years, being busy may have felt like a badge of honor. A full schedule once meant you were needed, productive, and successful. But there comes a point when constant activity stops being a sign of purpose and starts becoming a source of strain. After 70, your well-being depends less on how much you do and more on how well you live each moment. The body changes with age, and it asks for a different rhythm. Energy is more limited, recovery takes longer, and stress has a stronger physical effect. When you keep pushing yourself to stay endlessly busy, you can exhaust your nervous system and weaken your health. Slowing down is not giving up, it is adjusting wisely. It is learning to work with your body instead of against it. Rest, pauses, and quiet moments are no longer optional extras, they are necessary medicine. There is also a difference between meaningful activity and empty busyness. Meaningful activity brings satisfaction and connection. A walk with a friend, tending a garden, reading, praying, creating, mentoring, or enjoying time with family. Empty busyness is rushing through tasks just to feel occupied. After 70, it becomes important to choose depth over quantity. A few meaningful actions each day nourish the heart more than a long list of rushed chores. Slowing down also improves mental and emotional health. When life is rushed, the mind stays tense and distracted. When you move at a gentler pace, you notice more. The taste of your tea, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter, the comfort of silence. These small experiences calm the mind and lower stress levels. They support better sleep, steadier mood, and clearer thinking. Many people fear that slowing down will make them irrelevant, but the opposite is often true. A calm presence, thoughtful words, and unhurried attention make you more valuable to others, not less. People feel heard and respected when you are fully present with them. After 70, your worth is no longer measured by how busy you are. It is measured by how peacefully, intentionally, and gratefully you live. When you release the need to stay constantly occupied, you make space for restoration, reflection, and real joy. And that is where healthy aging truly thrives.